This episode of After Dark is brought to you by Netflix. For a free 30-day trial, head on over to netflix.com/GamebreakerTV.
Go to netflix.com/GamebreakerTV.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to After Dark, the live call-in show where you guys call in live and we answer your questions. I'm back in the hot seat, so that means what? It means it's going to be a lot longer than a 40-minute episode. Joining me like he does every week. He's out sick, so I decided to call in a favor from a friend. You guys know him, you guys love him, but you also really hate him. That's right, I brought you guys Timo.
Whee!
Right here.
Mushrooms. Boom, 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 boom. What's up?
I think you had that backwards.
What's up?
Timo, your hat's on backwards. Your ears.
What's up?
That means your ears are on backwards too. I'm concerned.
What's up?
Product placement. Too bad I don't have my Kingdoms of Amalur shirt to rest in peace for Rhode Island. All right. Well, it's been a crazy week. For me, just a quick, hey, before we even get the show, before we even jump in and get the show started, can I just say, if your doctor ever tells you that he wants to draw blood, turn around and run away. Not even kidding you. That is the scariest experience I've ever had in my life. I traumatically had to have my blood taken this morning.
Why was it traumatically? Was it like spraying all over the room?
It was a needle the size of Texas, first off.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas. Second off, they literally stick you with the needle and let you watch as your blood like squirts into a vial.
What do you think they do with the needle? Do you think they like caress you with the needle?
I wish they wouldn't just like jab me in the arm with it. That was scary.
Did they hold the needle like that? Like
yes,
that?
they're like death grip. Like I'm gonna kill you.
Give me your arm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Pretty much.
How much blood did they take from you?
3 whole vials. What do you need 3 whole vials of blood for? I can tell you right now, I don't think I have a cholesterol problem. I don't know. I could be wrong.
STD?
I might have an STD.
Oh.
Maybe that was why it was. My mom asked if I was pregnant. She was asking why I was getting blood drawn. She asked if I did it because I was pregnant. I told her yes. I'm expecting twins. So there's that.
What are you going to name them?
What's that?
What are you going to name them?
I don't know. Where is this show even going?
Timo would be a good name for
Timo can be one of them.
Yeah, Timo.
The other one can...
Timo and Kurt.
I don't even know anymore. I'm just going to open up the lines and get off
Timo and Kurt.
This topic because this is going to get crazy. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark.
Timo and Tebow.
Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
My name's Dan. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Dan.
And I am exceedingly frustrated with Square Enix right now.
Why is that?
They just all the problems over the last week. And so along those lines, my question is, with all the problems Final Fantasy XIV has had over the last week, the login errors, the early access code, redemption issues, do you think the game will have a strong start, or do you think it will flop? Related, Square Enix is ready for a launch of this scale.
Did you watch XIV Reborn today?
I was there, yes.
Yeah, we talked a lot about this today. I'm kind of worried a little bit as well. They had this crazy error 3102 and 90,000. I don't know if you know about these, but stopped a lot of people from playing the game, pretty much, myself included. I think, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I'm kind of sitting on the fence right now. I mean, I kind of got a feeling my gut's going to tell me. I think first few days of early access are going to be a little troublesome. That's my gut. I don't think it's going to be like one of these smooth launches. I think we're going to go back about 6 years of MMO launches. Remember about 6 years ago, like the day at MMO launch, you just kind of expected like the shit to hit the fan. You knew like you were going to F5 for like probably 3 of those hours. Then you're going to smash your keyboard and you're just going to wait. And then Rift kind of came along and changed the game and had a really nice launch. I don't think it's going to happen. That's my gut,
Dan,
but I don't know.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, I guess if you're coming in and you're looking at XIV Reborn, are you one of the returning players who played originally?
No, I have friends who did, but I went. No. I looked at it, but it was not.
I wonder if because here's the thing is I feel like the people who are going to give this the largest chance are the people who are definitely coming back for a second time. They're probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like they're maybe a little bit more forgiving of these errors. They're already coming back. They already feel like Square Enix is trying to.
A lot of people came back. A lot of people came back.
Right.
A lot of new people. There's a lot of people playing the game. They broke concurrent users apparently, like for MMO, which is crazy. A lot of people playing the game.
Right.
So you think they're going to be more forgiving because they're like hardcore players, like a Final Fantasy fans?
I think that they're a little bit. They're already in forgiving mode. They're already ready to.
See, I don't know. I think there's more people like Dan out there who are kind of like, we don't know if we want to be forgiving. I'm still like that a little bit. I mean, like, you know, they kind of turned the tides for me when I actually got to play the game, but I've always been hard on 1.0. It was absolutely terrible. So I've been kind of sitting there going like,
wait, really? You don't say. You were so hard on it. You were throwing a box at me. I had no idea how upset you were about the game.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Yeah, Mr. Happy, Mike P thinks, you know, he's thinking that they may have underestimated how many people are actually going to play the game. I'm not buying that. They know how many pre-orders they got. They know how many people are signed up for the beta. They know how many people they're letting in. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried. I guess what I'm a little bit worried about is I'm a little bit worried of how short this beta phase 3 or 4 was, which was the open sort of beta, the open beta phase 4. And they did have some pretty, what seems to be scary issues. And now we don't have another beta. So now we just go to like, now it just rolls into early access launch, which is like, all right, now we're getting really, next thing is we're on early access, but that's so close to launch that like now you're on my 30 days time, right? Are things gonna run smoother? I mean, people, some major problems.
But I think even kind of like you said though, the problems of a launch mean nothing for an MMO months after it's released. What's gonna hold people's? I mean, sure, people are probably have a little bit of a worrisome taste in their mouth over the issue, but I personally feel like what's always kept people having problems with MMOs, or when they get into it, they keep playing, and then they realize it's either some long, boring grind with no end game, or they get to the end game and they think the rating is subpar, or they think that the PvP is bad. That's what will kill an MMO, in my opinion, not necessarily just the launch.
Yeah, I think the only thing that scares me, like I think right now there are so many, even people who coming back from 1.0, I don't know if they're as forgiving as you're sort of like maybe sort of insinuating. I'm thinking that they're definitely kind of sitting on the fence going like, man, I hope these guys get it right this time. And if they start screwing up, I think there's a lot of people out there like Dan, I'm taking this stupid head off. I think there's a lot of people out there like Dan who are sort of like, even more so, he didn't play 1.0, but people play 1.0 are a little bit like, wow, are you going to burn me again? Like, you burned me once. Are you going to burn me again? And this isn't looking good.
Burn me once, shame on me. Burn me twice.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing today is today was the day that you were able to start putting in your access code for early launch. And again, they didn't send out the email saying like, hey, everything's ready. Go put your key in. But the websites went live and people started trying to put their keys in, and bad things started happening. Errors and things not working started happening. So again, like, you know, not the most of, it's not very confidence. I'm very not inspired. I don't have a lot of confidence right now because everything seems to be like kind of breaking down a little bit. So I'm a little bit scared.
Right. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess I'll just say I think that people already are in a forgiving mode. I don't think that's going to save them if they keep having problems, but I think that people are already willing to turn the other cheek. They just need to keep their feet on the ground because they've already fallen into the good graces of people's second chance. You don't want to screw that up by having a bad launch.
And you know, I don't know. Like I said, I think if you go back a few years, especially with MMOs, I think a lot of veteran MMO players remember those days when like you knew MMO launch days were going to be a disaster. Like it was a given. Like there had never, like back in the day, there was never an MMO that launched without just insanity, right? Like login servers, no matter how much they stress test them, cannot take the amount of abuse they have on day one. And they can't really put the safeguards in. Like I know people are like, well, why don't they just get more servers? It doesn't really work like that. And the amount of money and the way it scales, like they can't really do that. So they kind of have to, you know, do some things like that. You know, they kind of know that there's going to be some heartache there. But then like then some companies kind of came along and started really making the launch of MMOs pretty smooth. Like I remember Rift being one that was kind of pretty done pretty well. Maybe some queues and stuff, but I don't know. I feel what I guess I kind of feel bad for is I feel bad for the people who have been waiting for this game, cannot wait to play the second that the early access starts, and they've gone so far as do things like take off of school or take off of work. Like they're just so amped up, and this is like their Christmas morning. They can't wait to log into the server. I hope it's up for you guys. I hope it's up because for the other people out there that are just sort of like, well, if it's up, and if it's not up, I'll wait 6 hours or 10 hours or a day or 2 days. Not really stress, but it's the people who are like Mike from XIV Nation or XIV Reborn. He wants to go for server first. Like that's his thing, right? Like he's like, I got to get on that the second it comes on. Like I got to like do this. I kind of feel bad for those guys if this doesn't really go out their way.
Right.
Because they're literally taking off of work. People are taking vacation days for this damn game. Which, I get it. You want to do server first. It's cool. It's like a game to you. It's a race, you know? That's cool. If it don't work, though.
And even to think about that myself is that, there have been situations where an expansion or a game will launch, and I'll take off work, and then it doesn't go as planned as you say, and then you're sitting there, you're like, well, damn it, I just took the day off work. Like,
you're going to be so angry. The people who do that, who aren't going to be able to get in, are going to, and rightfully so, you're going to be extremely angry. Which is why I think years ago I kind of stopped ever doing things like that. I've never gone for server firsts, not been my thing, but I used to always like.
You realize how hardcore you have to be to get server first? Holy crap! I've tried that.
It's crazy.
I remember I was racing to server first 80, and I think I was within like 3 or 4 hours in World of Warcraft, and I missed it by 3 or 4 hours. And then I immediately, like as soon as it happened, I was like, I'm done. Like I'm going to bed. It doesn't matter anymore. My life is over and useless. I will never amount to anything. I didn't get server first.
But I've definitely been the guy sitting there like, servers going up at noon or 12, F5ing, 11:57, 11:58, F5ing, is it up? Is it up? I've kind of let that go. Because it's always been just, you're just defeated. Just usually not. The chances of it working at the time they say the servers are going to go up are probably slim.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Open up another call and keep the show moving. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Edwin, Florida.
Edwin or Edward?
Edwin.
Edwin. Okay.
Get that a lot. Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to call. I'm gonna piggyback off that first call because that was my main question. I am one of those people that are really waiting for the game. I mean, like I'm even going as far as to buy like a nice build computer. I mean, like grand and a half. I mean, just a very nice build so that I could play it and be it's beautiful and everything like that. And now, with all the current situation, like that, is it going to be really worth it? I mean, like, I'm looking at all the other games like Hearthstone, Wild Stars coming out, Elder Scrolls. There's so many new modern MMOs. Like, am I going in the wrong direction? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a big, avid Final Fantasy gamer, but...
Real quick, you're a returning Final Fantasy XIV player, correct?
No. I didn't get to
play
as
1.0.
Yep. I just wanted to get into it, but I'm a big avid Final Fantasy player.
I think that's the biggest draw. I mean, I think that's the biggest draw of this game is if you're really into the Final Fantasy universe. Burn says it time and time again. Like he's a huge Final Fantasy fan, but if you're looking for like this next gen sort of MMO experience that you maybe haven't had before with another MMO, you might not get it from this if it's not really just about the Final Fantasy universe for you.
I gotta say,
it's not doing anything.
I think I agree with that a lot.
It's not doing anything like out of the box at all. It's done well. It's done really well, but it's not breaking any new ground. So if you want what seems to be so far at least a really solid based tab targeting traditional style MMO with some interesting classes, some fun crafting, lots of stuff to pound on, it's going to be fun, But if you're looking for like something breaking outside of the box, like most MMOs now, so most other MMOs like now I feel like are all trying to like one up each other, right? Like they're trying to do something different. Like they're trying to like, you've got, Elder Scrolls doing their thing with like trying to be like a real like RPG Skyrim kind of thing. You've got WildStar, bringing back to the more like hardcore raider and also like with the more action combat and stuff like that. Final Fantasy XIV isn't really doing anything that outside of the box. So.
But I think it's as you said, and I mentioned this with their integration of Lightning, and it's kind of like you said, it's not breaking any new ground, but it's for those players who really like the Final Fantasy universe, the Final Fantasy world, the environment and characters, and have always been like, oh, I love Final Fantasy. I'd love to see it in an MMO, and like that's why like it shocks me that Final Fantasy fans are a little bit kind of like miffed or think it's a gimmick that they're bringing lightning to the game. I would think Final Fantasy fans would be excited by that, because that's why you're playing a Final Fantasy MMO, is because of the title Final Fantasy. In my opinion,
I think that one thing in particular, I think for a lot, especially I'm speaking now, just I'm taking the liberty to speak for them. But how I guess I received that was, I think a lot of 1.0 XIV 1.0 or 14.1.0 players, they just want a really solid MMO experience. They want the game to be super solid. And I think when they saw that, they were like, ooh, is this like a gimmick? Like, are you trying to like pull the wool over my eyes? And like, this game's not going to be like, I just want a great game. Like, you don't have to sell me on the lightning thing. So I get your point. Like I said, I think I put it this way. I think I've been more hard on that game when 1.0 came out than almost anyone. I mean, I hated it I gave it like a good month or so, but it was very quickly, it was pretty prevalent that the game was just like apparent that the game was just trash. What I have experienced so far, which again is not to like insanely high levels, is awesome. Like tons of fun. Like making me want to log in. Like not logging in at all because like, oh my God, we got Gamebreaker and we got to talk about this and stuff. Like, it's like, oh my God, I want to go log into that game. I want to go like explore this world. I love the story quests. I love the story arcs, how every few levels you hit like these main sort of Final Fantasy-esque instances where story unfolds and and it's like long cutscenes and a lot of dialogue.
What the Final Fantasy game is in an
MMO.
MMO.
And that's what it does, and it does stuff like that very, very well. But again, systems, things like that, like if it's I don't know. I think you're gonna have a really good time. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, have you played any of the beta at all? Have you been in any of the phases?
Oh yeah, I've played Phase 3 right when it came out. Phase 4 this whole weekend before I got 3102'd.
So why are you all on the fence now? Is it because of the technical difficulties with 3102?
Well, oh yeah. I mean, but even then, it's like it just I've been watching Gamebreaker for probably the past month now. I mean, ever since Mr. Happy over there converted me. I've been watching guys ever since then, and I just see you got the WoW Nation, you putting up the Hearthstone Nation tonight, and everything.
There's a lot of games.
Man, yeah, it is, and it's very confusing as a retrading MMO multiplayer to sit here and be like, man, what am I doing?
So wait. So here's something that happens all the time, and it's like we have two. This actually dovetails nicely with why we're even launching all these sites, right? But you brought up a really good point. Is that I feel like you have two. I've been playing MMOs since like, I don't know, 99, like EverQuest. And you have like two different types of MMO players. You have MMO players who want to invest all of their time, all of their effort, and everything into one game, and that is it. Like they want to, like, it's a hobby. They want to read the books. They want to collect, like, figurines and statues, and they want to play that game, and they don't want to do anything else. And they're super hardcore about that. And that's totally cool. Then you have people who like what I've become, and I used to be kind of that person. I've gone into like this like percentage of the crowd where I call them MMO hoppers, where like there was a point where I just said like, you know what? Just like console games, why can't I play more than one of these? Now, back in the day, it was harder because everything had a subscription. So it's like if you wanted to play 5 MMOs, you were paid $15 a month for every MMO. That was crazy, right? It was expensive. But now with all the free-to-play stuff, I kind of fall into the category like I don't play any of them super hardcore like a lot of our, like, even our co-hosts do. But I love hopping game to game. Like I don't get as bored. Like, whatever I feel like I'm playing, whatever my friends are playing, like I jump into there. So I guess my point is to you, Edwin, is like, I know Final Fantasy does have a sub, so it falls back into that category, but maybe it's not a bad thing. I mean, Hearthstone's going to be free, right? So it's like free to play. So, okay, you can pick up that and play Hearthstone and play Final Fantasy. Nothing wrong with that. So maybe it's not about investing all of your time, putting all of your eggs in just one single basket to be let down. Maybe the diversity can actually be a good thing.
Yeah, it's true. I just haven't played any MMO in probably about a year or so. So I've been out of the in a while. Like, wow, this is it. Final Fantasy. Oh my God, I've been waiting for this for so long because I did want to play one, and I didn't have the hardware. I don't think I had a right internet at the time or anything. I don't know what exactly it was, but
Well, did you have fun in Phase 3? Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it?
I was loving Phase 3. That's why I was.
All right, then that's all that matters, right?
I mean, and here's the other thing is like another game that you mentioned in there is Hearthstone. Hearthstone. I've played it now. I played it over the weekend. I've been playing it a little bit today for some SMAT recordings. That's
He's just gonna keep rubbing it in chat room that you don't have a beta key, and he does.
I'm bragging. Take that. It's not the type of game that you're going to like sit there and obsess over and take seriously. I think there might be some people out there that will.
I've been obsessing since Friday.
I think that some people will, but
you've leveled higher than me, but I've been obsessing. It's been like 4 a.m. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'll play a card game."
I literally can't find myself obsessing over it. Because after a while,
how many packs have you opened up?
Well, I bought the 7 for the X amount that like the initial buy. So I got 7 cards for, I think it was $10. And then I've earned probably 5 extra packs through doing the arena.
I didn't expect to be hooked. I'm kind of hooked on it. And I didn't really think I would be.
It's a great small time sink, but I don't think it's one of those games that you're going to play to the level of, say, Final Fantasy.
It's totally different.
It is totally different. It's a different kind of market. It's the type of game that you pull up the launcher, play in your second monitor while you're doing dailies. Like I was doing that when I was
when they launch on the iPad, my life is over.
What's that?
I said when they launch on the iPad, my life is over.
The iPad is going to be really awesome. Except, you know what I'm wondering, and I haven't heard back from them.
I told you I was going to change every viewer's question into Hearthstone.
Is the iPad going to have offline play? Because if it doesn't, like the one place where I'd like want to be able to play is on a plane when I'm traveling. And if I have to log into BattleNet, I can't do that on a plane.
That's possible. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm kind of a little
because you're on a plane constantly. He jets it. He's got a private plane.
I got a private jet.
He actually lives in Texas and he flies to Gamebreaker every morning.
It's true.
He's got a
private jet. I land just on the other side of this wall.
Apparently, they pay pretty well here.
They do. They pay great. But that kind of leads into another Twitter question while we get someone else on the line. Let's see here. We had Kyle Brigman who was asking, Hearthstone looks very polished on Twitch. Does it feel like you're testing a beta or playing a launched game?
No, it feels launched.
It does.
That's Blizzard.
It is Blizzard, but
Blizzard.
it does. It's like I don't even
done.
like I'm sitting there like I think it was over the weekend. I was sitting with my girlfriend. She was like, "Have you run into any bugs?" And I was like,
no.
Wait, I'm playing this to find bugs? Like, no, I'm playing this just because I got it. Like,
you're playing this to find, like, for them to help balance, and then hopefully, just add spectator mode.
Yeah.
Add spectator mode, please, Blizzard. It'd be amazing. Yeah, it's got Blizzard polish. Like, it feels so ready.
I bet you.
I know it's not balance wise, but at the same time, like as far as just like I
bet you anything before they even announced it, it was past that phase of being like buggy.
Oh,
like
yeah.
and then they had it announced for like 6 months while they finished up the polish, and they're like, all right, cool, because that's what beta phases are nowadays. Beta phases are not like, hey, get into the beta and test our game for bugs. They're get into our game, give press, for the most part. Depends. Okay, fair enough. But for the most part, a lot of beta phases have become about press and getting hype around it because people want to get it. The Facebook effect. You're not in and I'm in, and it's going to make you want to get in that much more. And I think that Blizzard has reached that status where that's the kind of beta phase that they can look at.
Yeah, I mean, right now people are just going nuts. They just want beta keys, right? We don't have any. I wish we did. I don't know where that's going.
But there's an interesting rumor going around. Can I spread a rumor? It's not fact. It's not been confirmed by anyone at Blizzard. I haven't heard this anywhere except for someone on Twitter. Supposedly, people are saying that there might be a extra wave of invites that go out. Basically, everybody who currently has a beta key might get to invite an additional person. They're talking about maybe that like you get like an additional key if you actually already open it, and then it starts opening the floodgates that way.
That would be nice.
So that might be happening. No confirmation. That's just a rumor that I literally came across today, but that might happen.
You know what else might happen? Just a rumor. Haven't heard anything. Maybe on Twitter. Hearthnation.com might just open up tonight for about an hour for the people watching the live show.
Tonight. I mean, if you're watching this tomorrow, the video on demand, you missed out. You gotta watch it live.
If you weren't watching live, you're gonna miss it. Because yes, I'm gonna open up Hearthnation.com so you guys can pound on it and beta test it and find some bugs exactly like Blizzard. We're gonna beta test the website. So
well, no, you're not beta testing it like Blizzard because it's got to be polished. There's got to be no issues.
No. There's a lot of issues. No, there's not a lot of issues. There's not a ton of content. I'm gonna launch it though. Stay tuned towards the end of the show. I will open up hearthnation.com for all you guys for about an hour. Give you guys about 60 minutes. Got to show up to the live show, people. See, get little fun perks like this, like beta testing the site. So we'll open that up later on. Yeah, I am loving the Hearthstone. Honestly, when they announced it, I was sort of like, okay. I was a Magic fan for a while. I don't really play CCGs or TCGs much anymore. It kind of looked remotely cool. Then I got my beta key, and I logged in, and then 6 hours later, I was like, what? How did that happen? What? I don't know how that happened.
I have found myself late at night once. There was one night, I think it was Friday night, I went home, and I was working on finishing up the visual effects for the movie that I've been working on. And I was literally like, I had it open the whole time. I was up probably till I think 5, maybe 6 a.m. I could have been done by like 3 or 4 a.m., but I was so like entrapped by Hearthstone at the same time.
It's so hard to not play one more match.
It's really hard.
And I stole that. I'm stealing that line from Zarheim because he was. I'm gonna name drop.
It's like the Lay's potato chip. On the back of the Lay's potato chip, they said, "Bet you can't have just one."
Come on, I feel like a rock star. I'm gonna name drop.
Name drop. Zarheim. All right, here you go.
Texting with Zarheim. He's like, "Man, it's awesome." I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you like it? I'm like, I effing love it. Like, I can't stop playing. He's like, I know. It's like so hard not to play one more match. And that's the problem. Every time I finish a match, I'm like, one more. Just one more. Like, what's one more? Like 10 minutes? It's like, I need a fix.
Yeah. It is. I've always, and I did that with my, we can keep talking about that later, but I've been right there with you where it's just like, all right, I'm going to play one more match and I'm good. Then you get to the end of the match, you're like, that was quick. Why not just one more?
I know.
It happens.
I know.
It totally happens. We're
really rubbing exciting. It in. Sorry, chat room. I hope so. I hope some point. I can't guarantee. So here's the thing. All right. I'll throw this out there. I guess I'm kind of afraid to say. I guess we're getting beta keys because they haven't told me.
But we're getting them. We said it.
Well, there's a list on Hearthstone's website that says here's a list of websites who either have or will be getting keys. And we're on that list.
Well, then they got to be coming at some point.
We're on their website as far as one of the sites. When we get them, I guess we're not really told. So I guess whenever they, kind of send them over, they send them over. And then we'll immediately figure something out of how to
spread them out to you. All right, let's move on real quick to another caller. But before we do, I want to tell you guys about an awesome sponsor that we have right here.
Is it awesome?
It is awesome. It is so
How awesome
is it?
Awesome.
I think it's tubular.
It's tubular. It's totally tubular.
I heard another kid the other day. He was what did he say? He said it was crunchy. He's like, dude, this service is so amazing. It's crunchy. I was like, what? That's so awesome.
That's so awesome.
So you guys haven't heard about them in a long time, but they're one of our favorite sponsors here. That's right. We're talking about Netflix. Good old Netflix.com. They haven't gone anywhere. They've been right there the whole time. And Netflix, I'm kind of glad that we haven't talked about Netflix in a while because I've had a more than enough time to tell you about some awesome shows that are available right now. First off, new Arrested Development came out. That was really good for anybody who had seen Arrested Development years ago. It was an original, I think it was their 5th season, completely funded by Netflix, which did really well. The other really exciting thing, Breaking Bad just started up again. You were talking about Breaking Bad so much before we had it, and I had never watched an episode.
Oh, you started watching it?
I'm all the way through. I'm current.
Oh.
I'm current with the new season that's coming out right now, and they go all the way through. So literally, Breaking Bad is airing right now, and you can watch it all on Netflix right now. Another thing, another guilty pleasure of mine.
It's such a good show.
It is a really good show.
Do you watch Wilfred? I
haven't watched Wilfred yet.
My friend worked on that, and it looks like a hilarious show, but I have not watched it.
I don't know about Wilfred. That was one of those shows that I felt like it would be hit or miss for me. I don't want to admit this, but I'm going to. A show that's become my guilty pleasure, because here's why Netflix is so great. Netflix is great. I don't even necessarily watch it for the movies.
I'm afraid. I'm very afraid.
I don't watch Netflix for the movies. I watch it for the series. Because that's what's like, it's nice to sit down and be able to watch an entire season from start to finish without having to stop. And I did that with Teen Wolf, MTV's Teen Wolf.
Was it good?
Oh. It's very sappy. It's MTV. You have to let go. Like, its love story is crap. But it's good. Like, I found myself, at the end of every episode, I always found myself wanting to watch another episode. Kind of like with Hearthstone.
I like Hearthstone.
Or Hearthstone.
Just one more dirty guilty pleasure.
It's there. It's not, I've got Netflix.
I'll just watch one more episode
of Teen Wolf. Now I'm watching that current with the season. That's what's great. That's honestly what I love about Netflix is when they stay so up to date with their series that you can catch up on something to start watching it as it airs on TV.
And the funny thing with Netflix is I remember hearing about Netflix way back in the day when Netflix first started out. But I remember when they first started out, right? And I instantly became a member. And they would send you discs, the DVDs in the mail. How archaic is that?
What about the streaming disc that you had to apply for? It wasn't even an app on the PlayStation. You had to apply for a streaming disc.
Yeah, so like I honestly was not a member during that period. So I became a member early on when it was discs. But then the problem I always had was I would get the discs in the mail, I'd watch them, and they'd sit on the shelf for like a month or two, and I wouldn't send them back. And they'd be like, oh man, I'm terrible. I got to send those things back. And I sent them back. And I realized like I wasn't really getting my money's worth because I like was holding on to like 3 movies like every month for like 3 or 4 months, and it was just ridiculous. So I stopped it for a long time. Then they started this streaming service, and I was like, I'm all in. Streaming on demand, like when I can click play and it's there and pause and come back, I'm done. I honestly think it's the most brilliant service out there because it's the only way that I watch television. Like I don't watch TV. And I don't even watch series like when they're on television. I just wait for them to be on Netflix.
I've already got it, but I'm already sold on Netflix again. I mean, it's kind of on the Digimon? Come on, anime fans. Oh my gosh, my childhood just like grew up or something. I don't know. Some crazy thing. I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm going home and watching Digimon. Don't even care. All right, let's move on.
Netflix.com/Gamebreaker TV. Make sure you got the TV on that URL. Just go sign up. It's absolutely free for 30 days. Download the app, put it on your iPhone, your iOS device, your iPhone, your iPad, your Apple TV, or even your newly the bug is
I moved it. It's gone.
The Chromecast. It's in the drawer right there with a box right there.
Oh,
that thing is amazing. That's another thing I just want to plug. They're not a sponsor.
They're not a sponsor, so they don't get a plug. Can I throw this box at you? They're not a sponsor.
But they're awesome. That thing is $35. You guys should all go look it up, and it's great.
All right, let's open up the calls and get this show back on track. Caller, you're online. That was like 10 minutes.
Tara
Holy
Reid
cow.
and John Hurd. I know both of them. Now I'm actually flipping.
Hey, we're still in Mumble.
Wait, yeah,
I think we're still in Mumble. Should we say hi to Magic Man?
He can't hear us unless you hold down the Alt key. He's talking about Tara Reid. Now I'm so intrigued by that conversation. Wow, can we bring that back? I want to know what.
All right.
Can you hit Alt?
What's Alt?
Can you hit Alt? I think it's Alt.
Hey, Burn.
Hello, Magic Man. Hi, what's going on with Tara Reid?
Yeah, she was in Sharknado, man.
I fucking love Sharknado.
Somebody has their Mumble on.
Yeah, you're live on After Dark.
Mike. You just want your audio on After Dark? Why don't you come on After Dark? I'm around this time.
Hey, man, I can't be blamed for Mr. Gannon not shutting his Mumble off. I can't run everything.
You're part of the show now, brother. Wow, I thought that was going to be a better story about Tara Reid. Okay, let's move on to our call.
So we're going to jump out of Mumble now and take another caller. All right, cool. Now that we're out of that, caller, I'm pretty sure you should be on the line. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question. Maybe. Hello?
Sharknado?
Aloha?
Hello. Yeah. Calling in from Sharknado.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, my name's Jeff from Idaho, and I actually have another Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn question. Of course, as a player of the 1.0 beta and Phase 3 and the open beta from the Realm Reborn, I actually really love Phase 3. I actually dropped 1.0 beta because it just sucked. I just could not handle it. But Phase 3 for Realm Reborn, pretty flawless for me. There was a couple UI bugs and stuff that I was affected by because I had 3 screens. But nothing really game breaking for me. When Phase 4 started, I actually took Friday off, and I had a 6-man LAN party in my house, the open beta, because all my friends were all in and ready to go for it. And I was the victim of I was case number 0 actually for the 90K error, like 5 hours in, and so that sucked. And but actually, my main question though, my original question was kind of answered already. But my main question is if there's any information in regards to Odin, the Behemoth, or Leviathan, or Ruma being added to the game. And if there's information on that. I know they are being added, but I'm not sure if there's any information when.
Now, before we answer your question, just because you obviously, you're one of those players that we kept kind of trying to reference, you were a part of. Where do you stand now with the errors that have been coming up recently? You're obviously giving it another chance. Are you okay? Are you going to look past it with this rough patch and get into the game and try it out, or is this kind of being deciding factor?
I mean, I am, because Square Enix, I should say, really, they try. I'll give them that they try. I mean, yeah, it was really patchy at first. Of course, 3104 caused everyone to rage, and I mean, I was like, okay, well, they'll fix it. They eventually did fix it. They extended our time. I mean, they gave us a little extra in there. But I'm giving it a chance because Phase 3 was so flawless for me, and I really had a great time. I almost capped out. A lot of my friends actually capped out in Phase 3, and they were kind of mad that they couldn't get their jobs, but they were like, oh, yeah, we can't get their jobs because
Phase 3 actually went flawless for me as well. So, and I got hit with the 3102 bug in Phase 4. I didn't get the 90,000 bug. I know Mr. Happy got the 90,000
was
bug.
Horrible. Yeah, just
you were just stuck in Limsa.
You can use use the auction board. You can talk to people. You can blacklist people. You anything. And it was ridiculous.
You were just stuck in limbo basically. It was just this weird like.
And then every time you try to go anywhere, and of course it happened to me right when I'm in my main storyline, just before the ship quest. That was like my airship quest, and it crashed on that one. And all
here's the thing we all got to think about with everything that's going on right now is there's, believe me, after everything I said before about like, being a little bit hesitant, yes. Do I think Square's going to work all this stuff out over time? Absolutely. Well, I mean, you can bet every penny that the devs are probably, it's 10 o'clock at night, and they are probably all, well, most of them are Japan, but they're working nonstop to fix all of these things. I mean, the last thing they want right now is a bad launch. The last thing they want is for you not to be able to play the game. Like, will things crop up? Yes. I mean, it's sometimes hard. I think I think MMO players and gamers in general like to give devs a really hard time because they don't really have like an interaction with them. But I mean, there's no like conspiracy theory for them wanting anyone to have a bad situation here. I don't know. Will they work everything out? I think they really will. I think it seems like the systems and the core design of the game is really much more solid now, and how they've designed everything, just the layout, there's no copy pasta, there's tons of stuff to do, and everything feels like cohesive. Will some of the technology behind like logging in and server stuff, will there be some more bumps in the road? Probably. Like there probably will be, right? We had like a couple day Phase 4 test, and we've seen a couple things. I kind of anticipate that there's going to be a couple more bumps in the road. I don't think it's going to be completely smooth sailing.
And see, the thing that actually worries me the most out of everything so far, because of people having these errors, they try to make new accounts and new characters on different worlds, and try to compensate for not being able to play on their mains. So we have all these characters on all these worlds. We don't know if technically, or I don't know technically if there's going to be a wipe yet or not, because that was still up in the air in regards to Phase 4. And so, when early access does start, and with all the early access errors trying to actually redeem the codes and stuff that people are having, myself, my friends included. It's just going to be a big jumble to see if.
Did you want to wipe? I don't think there's going to be a wipe. I don't think so. Even some of the Mr. Happy's, who's more of a going for server first hardcore progression rater, like he even is saying he doesn't think there should be a wipe. I don't think they're going to do a wipe.
I hope they don't wipe personally, but.
I think there's going to be some bumps in the road. That's all I can say. I think they're still going to pull it off, though. I think they're going to pull this off. I've never seen an MMO kind of come back from the rise from the ashes and actually pull it off, and I actually think they're going to. I mean, everything else feels really solid. They got to get some of the the hurdles out of the way. I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to have a really solid MMO here.
So in regards to, I was going to say, in regards to kind of your comment about, I tried to do some search while you guys were talking about obviously the specifics of Odin and the other primals being added. Again, I can't find any official announcement, but I think, and obviously a lot of Final Fantasy fans know this, it's obviously the only links that I could find about these are strictly mostly to wikis and obviously the main XIV page. There's no doubt that they're obviously coming, but I have not heard any official news as to the implementation of Bahamut.
I'm just wondering if they're going to come in, if they're going to have a patch 2.1, 2.2, or somewhere along those lines, because we're waiting for it, but we want to experience more primals. I mean, that's like one of the key aspects, PvE for most players.
I love gamers. I love MMO gamers. Game's not even launched yet. When do we get this? When do we get this? When's the next thing coming? I know.
And couldn't you? I mean, you kind of said it. Couldn't the primals be perfect for patches? I mean, would there be a big? The anticipation of wanting something is a great way to keep you playing the game. And that much more excited when a patch drops that releases a primal that you want to see.
I can't think of them ever talking about this though. Like I don't know any sort of official statement of them talking about any of the primals or anything like that. The only thing, I mean, it's sort of related but not. But they talked about additional jobs probably not being till like patch 3.0, which is quite a ways off. So people are gonna have to wait for some of those new jobs and things like that. But I have not heard anything about the primals. I would imagine like they've got them in their thoughts and they're probably working on that stuff, but I don't think you're going to see like any sort of like release dates on that stuff yet. They're so fixated on launch right now. Adding more, more of that kind of thing, it's going to take a while.
All right, let's throw it over to Twitter while we get another caller online. Kevin Kane wanted to know, everyone said free-to-play was the future. Then WildStar announced both a box price and a sub plus cred. Who's right? I don't know, Gary. What do you think?
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, there's a couple of companies right now. Like WildStar's been in development for quite a while. Free to play is now definitely the hotness. Everybody thinks you have to be free to play. I don't know. WildStar's, man, what a controversial topic.
Well, Artie also,
our most commented post of the week by far on Gamebreaker TV of people like posing their opinion on there's their hybrid system. I don't mind their system. I think it's actually pretty unique. It's super unique. I mean, it's slightly sort of based on like, the EVE-Plex system. But for players that are able to play a lot and earn in-game cred, C-R-E-D-D, which is what they're calling it, you'll be able to turn in cred for game time. And actually, so if you play a lot, you would actually be able to pay for your monthly subscription fee by just playing the game, which I think is a really interesting thing. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who actually play EVE Online exactly that way. I don't think the majority are going to play that way. I think so for the majority of people out there, this is going to become a sub-based game, which I think a lot of people were sort of not anticipating. They thought it was going to be a free-to-play game. I don't know. It's weird. I think it really depends on the community as well. Like the Final Fantasy community, like across the board almost seems like they did not want at all a free-to-play game. They wanted a subscription-based game. That's it. Don't care how in fashion or how cool the free-to-play stuff is. They wanted a sub-based game. That's it. They just don't want to deal with all the other stuff, and that's what Square is giving them. So,
well, and I mean, Artie over on Twitter kind of had a follow-up to this, but he brings up kind of a good point. He says, do you think that the WildStar sub hate is due to recent sub games being bad or going free-to-play? Do people feel burned?
I don't know. I was joking a couple weeks ago, and I said by the time some of these MMOs in development who are going to go free-to-play, that it will completely turn on them, and free-to-play will be out of fashion almost, and sub-based will be back the cool thing again. Like, it'll just start becoming this cycle. WildStar as a sub, it's hard to say. I don't know. I didn't think that WildStar was going to do a sub with something like a Plex system. That didn't really hit my radar. And I kind of thought there was going to be multiple tiers. I kind of thought there might be actually be a third option there. So for somebody like myself, I kind of have no choice because I probably wouldn't be able to play WildStar enough to actually build enough cred to pay for my account. So I am probably going to fall into the category of a sub-based game. And then what else do I have to sort of kind of also take my time away to possibly question that sub? And that's what you have to weigh, I guess, as a gamer. Final Fantasy is definitely going to be something there for Final Fantasy fans, but I don't know if a large portion of the community is like bouncing between the two, wondering. WoW, obviously, big one for World of Warcraft. I don't know. I feel like, what's your take on WildStar? I feel like you probably would have definitely given it WildStar a really good run if it was free to play, but as a sub, you might be on the fence. That's my read on Shaftnet.
I think that I would more give it's Probably. I would be much more apt to jump in and play the game from start if it was free to play. There's no investment there. There's no room for error. I can jump in and I can play and not feel like I lost out in the process. But if I am able to play the games the way that I want to play them, I'm personally...
You want a sub?
No.
No?
Not even I want a sub. I'm perfectly okay with their system where, hey, subscribe, or work your butt off and you don't have to pay. You can earn the fact that you don't have to play. Pay for the game by playing the game. I can't do that anymore because I don't have the time that it would probably take to earn whatever it takes to substitute paying for the game.
Do you think, I know this sounds absolutely crazy. I'm gonna sidetrack for a second. Do you really think this is absolutely, I said this as a joke at one point, and the more I started thinking about it, like it kind of kept like, I don't know, I'd be in the shower and I'd come back. Do you think there'd be a point where somebody really figures out a monetization model for MMOs that could pay players to play them? Like pay you the game, somehow you could make real money from playing their game. I feel like there's a possibility with advertising and some sort of other monetization.
I think that's YouTube and Twitch.
I think somebody will actually figure that out. At some point, there might be a time when you're actually being paid to play an MMO. I know that's crazy. That makes no sense.
I can't rule it out. Crazier things have happened, but I don't know. It sounds like it's a long way away. All right, let's open up the lines and get to another caller. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Hello?
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 Game Addict?
Game Addict.
Yeah, that's you.
Nope, not me.
I could be. I wish I could be. I was a really bad... What?
What is Game Addicts?
I don't know.
I don't know. Is that a thing?
Called me Alex. I've called you previously.
Welcome. Welcome back.
Welcome. And my guess, why are you shouting? Chill out and have a cheesecake.
I've had this argument before, and I think anybody who's in the studio, is this your question? Just so I'm aware, or do you have another one?
I have a question.
Okay, so I shout just because, like, I get excited. First off, I get excited. Second, if I'm loud, you have to hear me. And 2 or 3, I don't know. Like I've always just projected my opinion, even like when I'm on the phone. Back, I don't know if a lot of you guys remember Flitz from the Dashboard Show. He used to sit behind me in an office, and I'd answer a phone, and I'd be talking to a boss, and he would literally like turn around, and he'd be like, "Dude, you're yelling," and I'm like, "I don't know that I'm yelling. I'm sorry. I just like this is how I talk. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize if it bothers anyone, but yell to sell, baby. I don't know."
I wouldn't apologize. F him, yell.
What's up, man? What question you got?
In last Final Fantasy Beta, quite few people mentioned that playing with the game controller, don't care which PlayStation or Xbox, it was more pleasing than using a keyboard.
Okay.
Also, Diablo is going for a controller in PlayStation 4. Do you think it can be better the keyboard?
Can the controller be better than the keyboard?
Wow, we had a long conversation about this on XIV Reborn today.
What'd you think?
About Final Fantasy.
What'd you think?
So, you and I brought this up. You and I had extremely limited time playing Final Fantasy with a controller at E3.
Very limited.
Very limited. You hated it. I didn't love it. You could not get used to the targeting.
Right. I was trying to remember. I was for a moment. I was trying to remember. I was like, did I get a chance to play that? Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I hated it. I absolutely hated it.
I brought this up today, and again, Michael P. Really brought up that he's playing with people who are playing with a controller. Apparently, he does not play with a controller, but says that some of the best players, like, you know, who are on par with keyboard and mouse players in his free company are playing with a controller on a PS3. Apparently, once you get really fast
to use the controller,
once you get super fast and the muscle memory kicks in, like it's like almost a no-brainer. He actually started almost going to the territory of realizing that, like, with that many buttons that close to your thumbs and your fingers being that readily available, could actually end up possibly being even a perk.
Well, and I mean, I like the fact that the one thing I will say is I like the fact that the triggers were quick modifiers. You were able to just pull left trigger, right trigger, and that would modify your X, A, Y, B, and your D-pad as well. That was nice, but the biggest problem that I had getting used to the controller was the targeting. Because I even had to like pull over one of the Square Enix employees. I'm like, I don't know how to target the bad guy. I'm sitting here cycling through, and I just keep cycling. I just keep hitting all of my teammates.
And that's something I should explain to people. So people out there, so they understand what he's talking about, is that with the controller, instead of like, either, keyboard and mouse clicking or being able to tab target in like a direction, you literally have to click the button X number of times and start cycling through whatever's sort of on your screen.
And if I'm not mistaken, the order changes based on where people are positioned.
Yes.
So like it could start with like 3 people over here and you're like left, left, left. But if more of the team shifts over there, you've now got to cycle through more.
I think it's the one big thing that's up for argument as far as like, will it be better to be, faster and sort of more efficient to be on a mouse and keyboard? Mike Byrne sort of sat on the fence of saying, like, I think it's more efficient to be a keyboard and mouse kind of player. Mike Peace thought it really didn't make a difference. He thought that they were going to be fine with both sides. I think it really comes down to preference. I have a feeling that there's going to be some probably really, really super kick-ass players on a controller, and it's really not going to matter to them. Once they get the muscle memory down, the thought of just, like, cycling through, boom, 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 done. I've targeted, like, the amount of time it took me to do that is a second,
right.
A fraction of a second. It's just a matter of kind of muscle memory getting used to it. So I don't think it's going to gimp players at all.
I think the one thing that I would say to that is, I'm not the best. I've got a Naga in my right hand, so I've got the 12 buttons there to my thumb. And then when I'm playing, I typically use 1 through 6 on a keyboard for hotkeys. I'm not going to do the quick math in my head, but I feel like the speed and quickness of being able to change hotkeys with the bumpers and the triggers to hit A, B, X, Y, Z, or there is no Z, et cetera, I feel like that's probably a lot faster of a system. And then as you were saying, if you can get used to it, you can probably access abilities, a plethora of abilities more than, say, someone with a keyboard and mouse, at least the way that I play. But
do you think if you got like really fluent with a controller that do you think you would enjoy MMOs with a controller? If you could get
if the controller was the one thing that was not holding me back, playing it exactly the same, I think I could enjoy it. I feel like that would be almost like Kingdoms of Amalur in an MMO. And
I don't know why keyboard and mouse for me. I know I'm like it's not broke, don't fix it. Like I feel so comfortable with it, like I don't even have to think about it, that it just feels so natural. So,
but that's that muscle. That's the muscle memory you were talking about,
right? And then the flip side of that, as we were talking about this, like when it comes to like, I'm probably not going to buy it for the PS3, but I probably will buy it if I'm still playing Final Fantasy XIV at that point. I probably would buy it for PS4 because there's something actually that sounds kind of awesome about just sitting on your couch and playing an MMO.
You know how you do that? You get a long USB cord. You hook your computer up to your TV. You get a long USB extender, and then you just sit back with your keyboard and mouse like you do in South Park. And you just sit there and you just play an MMO like that.
And just fish.
All right, let's open up the lines and get another caller in here. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name, tell us where you're from, tell us your question.
Hey guys, it's Zista.
Hey,
what's up, brother?
Wait, are you still doing it? Are you supposed to be mid-live stream?
Yeah,
are you cheating?
Mid 24-hour live stream?
You're cheating.
I'm still streaming. I can't call it After Dark and stream at the same time.
No.
Oh, okay. What are you playing right now?
Hearthstone. 20 or 48-hour Hearthstone. Hearthstone.
How you doing?
I can't say Hearthstone.
I did 48 hours like 2 days ago. That's old news.
Oh.
You did 48 hours, bro?
Being Sophist.
48 hours straight.
Wow. What is going on? What are you trying to prove here?
That he can stay up later than anyone in the world?
Just having some fun.
I just don't want to do like a Gamebreaker post of like these posts of like people in like internet cafes like dying like in the mid of like some 72-hour like MMO run. And, they forgot to eat and all of a sudden they like passed out and died and the guy next to him didn't realize he was dead for like 9 hours. He thought he was just taking a nap.
My yellow dress can't save you. It's not that powerful. So be careful.
Well just because this is a topic real quick, side question. If the yellow dress was a card in Hearthstone, what would its properties be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I love how this is becoming a thing. Maybe instead of getting an item in World of Warcraft, I get an item in Hearthstone. That'd be
That would
awesome.
be awesome. It's not my real question, by the way. So just real quick, what do you think it would be?
I don't even know.
He's thinking. What's your real question? I'll take the question while he's thinking.
Okay, well, the past couple months, or for the past month or so, I've been playing the Metal.
Do I hear
Gear
crickets?
collection to
Are you like in a
story
farm? Are you living outside now? I hear crickets.
I have a cricket that sits outside my window, and I can't find it. And
I
it's
heard it.
Really annoying. It sounds like it's in my house.
Yeah, there he is. I hear
the
him.
window. If I go tap the window, it goes away. It's this big joke for all my streamers. They all know about it. But anyway, so I've been playing Metal Gear Solid collection. This cricket. It's getting bad now. Now you got to point out it's distracting me. Anyway, been playing the Metal Gear Solid
and you're trying to finish your hand.
That's the story for Phantom Pain coming up, and the collection it features like HD graphic upgrades, and that's about it. I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of it. And
That's what an HD remake is. It's not redoing the game. It's just updating the graphics.
Yes, but then you get a game like DuckTales, which just came out last week, and they brought some brand new life into this game. It was a lot more than just a remake, an HD upgrade remake. Like it was
the era, but
all kinds of extra. There was a whole new.
The era of '89, the era of '89 of where games were at, and we kind of, I don't think we talked about this a little, but you and I talked a little bit, and don't get me wrong, I think DuckTales is great. The era of where we were in 1989 with video games is completely different in terms of updating versus where the Metal Gear Solid games were at, personally. So, of course, there's going to be a massive difference in terms of the way that they can do an HD remake upgrade to catch it up to the standards of today.
They could have added a few other extra little features and like different little, just like extra stuff for the game. Like DuckTales added all, like after you go through the story mode, you can collect the coins from whatever process you know, however much you earned through your career, and then you go back into the vault and you can buy like artwork from the cartoons and from the game and like. The music, get the music tracks and stuff like that. But like they gave us an art book with the Legacy collection, the physical art book, which is kind of cool. But I was expecting a little something extra in the game. So I don't know. I think DuckTales nailed what they were supposed to do, and I'm kind of scared that games are not going to follow the same path. I'd see them offer something new, then just put a little bit of a texture upgrade on it and throw it out. Even like Final Fantasy X 10-2 that's coming out. They're adding
Wind Waker
3 hours
is another
to the end
example.
of that.
Kingdom Hearts is another example.
But they're adding 3 hours to the end of it that we have not seen yet. Brand new, 3 hours, whole cutscene. All the original audio actors are coming back for it. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 is coming out. They're doing the same thing. They're adding stuff in that we have not seen. They're bundling 2 other games with it. They're making one game that was nothing but cutscenes.
Well, for the record. I mean, but here's, and this is, you bring up Kingdom Hearts. I could be wrong. I think all they're adding into Kingdom Hearts is the stuff that was in Final Mix that we never got here in America. It's not stuff that was never there. It's just stuff that we haven't seen in America. America.
It's still something better than nothing. It's nice to be able to have that and it's into the remake for us. So I'm kind of a little let down with the Metal Gear Solid one. Do you think more games are going to try to follow in the Tales of DuckTales and Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts and offer new stuff? Or do you think they're just going to slap a remake on it?
I think it really depends on the franchise and what the reason for it is. I think like the Metal Gear package is sort of like, it's a little bit of PR and a little bit of like, nostalgia mixed in of just like, somebody who played those games kind of forgot about them and wants to like, maybe play them again, gearing up for the new Metal Gear. But then I feel like some of the other older titles that you're talking about, like DuckTales, like they're almost trying to not reinvent, but they did reinvent. That's what I'm saying. Like they're trying to reinvent them to the point that like it's like I feel like it's a different scope of bringing a game back. They probably want to see if they can bring DuckTales back. I'm guessing. I'm totally making something. I don't know anything about DuckTales, but I'm guessing that they maybe want to even sort of test the waters to see the fact if they could They've
already talked about they're going to redo like Chip and Dale next. They're going back to all of their.
But I also wonder if they're even looking at like bringing back the series, like as an IP, like with new titles and not just relaunches. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge. I don't buy many of the remakes. We did 7 because we're doing it for Super Mega Awesome Time, but like I don't go back and replay these. I think what they've realized is that like for those games that from that era is that most people have moved on and don't even have those systems anymore.
That's the best part of the HD remake.
Right, like they don't have those systems anymore because you've sold them, you've traded them in, you've got new systems, they're not even available, and then they're like, "Oh, remember how awesome this game was on your system? Well, here it is for $5.99," and you're like, "Of course I'll buy that." And that's really all it's meant to be. I don't know. Do you feel slighted when they're just like that? Is because like Final Fantasy VII so far that we've been playing is like pretty much just Final Fantasy VII. I feel like it's totally okay that you spent like $10 or whatever. I don't remember what it cost, but I don't feel like there was. I didn't expect launching 7 for this to be like this new experience. Like you bought it because it was 7.
Here's the thing. Here's a perfect example. All right, so talking about Kingdom Hearts. When they announced that it was coming out, or actually just before, not right around the time that they announced the HD remake was coming out, I went into, I created a PS3 or PS2 emulator, downloaded all my PS2 games because I couldn't play them on PS3, and started emulating them. Kingdom Hearts was the first series that I picked up. Played through it all. Played through almost every single one of them. And you and I took the time to check out the game when we went to E3. I think I had my hands on it for maybe 5 minutes before I was like, all right, I played it. Cool. I like, doesn't really, it looks a little bit better. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look bad.
Do you feel slighted if you buy games like that?
Not if I haven't played them in a while. Had I not just gone back and played the PlayStation 2 version, I probably would have bought it. But I just played it again. And I think that what you were saying was right. They're banking on the fact that these people haven't played these games in a long time. They can't play these games anymore. Adding in additional content is nice, like what Zista said that they're doing with Final Fantasy X. It's nice, but it's not. They're just trying to update and make the game playable again, catching it up to date with graphics, and just trying to push it out again. I like what Capcom did with DuckTales. That is my favorite time sink right now if I go home, even over Hearthstone.
Is it good? Because it's getting such mixed reviews.
It's
I'm
amazing.
not a huge DuckTales.
As someone who played that game originally as a child,
but is that why it's amazing?
Everything that they did to that game, the game itself isn't anything to be blown away by. It's still just the old game that it was. But you do have to have the original experience of playing DuckTales to enjoy it. Because, and I talked with Zista about this shortly after last week's After Dark. There's one of the most iconic levels in DuckTales, the moon. It gave when every level so far I've played the African Mines and the moon. Every level now has a rhyme and a reason to happening. Games back in the day, back in '89. They just plopped you into the world. Things were there. You explored it. You didn't know why you were in a spaceship. You just did it, and you collected things, and you explored and found your way, and just did it just because you had no idea. That's what that era of gaming was, and it still embraces that. But it finds this really kind of happy and exciting medium that's like you're immediately triggered back to the years before when you first played this game, and you're like, oh, even though that's not the original reason, you suddenly feel like, oh, now I understand why I did that so many years ago. And that doesn't make a game by any means. A story doesn't make a game. But I just feel like they did it so eloquently that for the people who enjoyed that game years ago, that's what the game wasn't remastered for brand new people to pick up and play. The game was remastered to capture the people who used to play the game. Because the other thing is, that game is still flipping hard. Extremely hard. It's not for the casual audience of today. And that's why I love it. I'm playing on hard right now, and I've probably played for about 6 hours, and I've beaten 2 levels. And I have to play those levels religiously so that I start to memorize everything again. It's one of those types of games. And I miss that. I miss that kind of game.
Like Dark Souls.
Like Dark Souls, sure. That's why. And again, it's not just the update. It's not just the graphics. It's not just the difficulty. I think what Zista's getting at here is they did such a great job of reinventing the game and reinvigorating the game that a lot of the old
other
players,
ones just feel like they're ports.
Right.
Like they're just exact replicas. Like it's like, hey, we are now going to give you this on the PC on Steam. Download it, play it like you remember on that console. Done. That's all we're doing. I don't know. I think personally, I think there's room for both of them.
I agree. I think there's room for both of them. I
don't think you can really.
You don't need to reinvent games like that for
sometimes you don't.
Metal Gear Solid.
Because sometimes you don't want that. Like sometimes there's certain games, like I don't know, Metal Gear games. I don't know if I want them to change it. Like I kind of like if I do want to go back and experience those games, I kind of just want to do that thing. So I don't know. That's my take.
All right, so let's move on to the final question for the evening. But before we do, I want to tell you guys about an amazing service.
Is it amazing?
It's not awesome. It's amazing.
It's not awesome. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
This is amazing.
It's amazing how close those words sound familiar.
Yes. It's either amazing or awesome.
It's either awesome or amazing. It's one or the other, but not both. Shutterstock.com is a great service that I think you guys have heard us talk a lot about. Both Gary and I have talked about how much we use it, but I not only want to show you guys, but I want to stress how important a service like Shutterstock is to people within the creative industry. Again, I just wrapped and finalized my first feature film. I was really excited. I got the opportunity to work and create visual effects for a feature film. Part of my responsibility was creating the opening title sequence, as well as doing some compositing shots. And like you guys saw kind of with Waypoint, I was able to find blood elements to add into some of the gunshots that they wanted to add into this horror movie. I said it's a horror movie, so one of the other things that I've mentioned before is I went to Shutterstock and I typed in ink blots, or actually, ink drops, and you can find a ton of stock footage ink drops that I was able to take in, composite, change, render, time warp to be different speeds. And I mean, obviously, for the feel of a horror movie, this just kind of helps set the tone. It's abstract, it's crazy.
You could use that for like a logo, though, like an intro to a YouTube video with like some like a text. You throw a text treatment over that, and you kind of like layer that in the background. That would look awesome.
And this is where the footage side of their stuff goes. And we've talked about photos. Another thing that I was tasked to do on this film was I needed to take a shot of a night where it had a tree in it, but they didn't have the moon in the background. They wanted this nice big eerie full moon in the background. So what did I do? Again, went over to Shutterstock, typed in moon, and there was just a whole bunch of moons for me to choose from. Whether this was the one that I showed them. What's that?
Is it a full moon tonight?
I don't know if it's a full moon tonight.
It might have been. It was last night or tonight. Might have been a full moon.
This was the moon right here. This is actually the asset that we pulled and used and placed into the movie. And all I did was basically just crop around the edges and slapped it in there. And the director was so amazed. He's like, "Holy cow, how'd you do that?" Well, didn't tell him that trick, but telling you guys can head over to Shutterstock. Head over to Shutterstock.com and start using all of these amazing graphics today. You guys can sign up for a free account if you guys head over. And when you guys are ready to check out, head on over and use the promo code Gamebreaker8, and you guys will receive 30% off your new account. So please, please, please head over to them. Supporting Shutterstock supports us, and we greatly appreciate it. And again, we can't sing its praises enough, so go check it out. Let's open up the lines and...
Wait.
What's that?
Wait. I don't know the words. People watching the live show, a little perk for the live viewers, because if you're watching this on the download, this means nothing, because you didn't show up for the live show, which is why you should show up for the live show on Tuesdays at 9 PST. Why aren't you here? We want you here. But guess what time it is? Yes, it's open. So go ahead. It's 10:30. You got 60 minutes. HearthNation.com is up. Bang on it. Break it. Do what you got to do.
Go bang on it.
And leave feedback in the forums, please. Forum.hearthnation.com. Leave feedback. It's a little light on content yet. I shouldn't have been doing this tonight, but I'm doing it for you guys on the After Dark just to do it to see how it goes. So definitely needs more content, but I want to see what you guys can do. So go for it. All right.
Last question for the evening while you guys go check out that. But leave the stream open. You can listen while you search.
They're listening. They're not leaving.
You can listen while you search. Don't go anywhere. We got one more caller. Caller, you're on the line with Gamebreaker After Dark. Holy static. Welcome to Gamebreaker After Dark. Tell us your name. Tell us where you're from. Tell us your question.
Static. Anyways, this is Ars Mystical from chat. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm kind of sad. I had a Jolly Rancher over here, and I opened it and tried to bite it. It missed my mouth, and it rolled on the ground. I picked it up. It had a bunch of Sophie fur on it, so I don't have my Jolly Rancher. I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset.
Damn!
But 10-second rule doesn't apply to Sophie fur. That was on there the second it hit the ground. All right, what do you got for us?
Just before even my question, I did want to mention that to you guys plug in Audible. I joined them last week and got a bunch of the World of Warcraft books already. So
great. Thank you. And what did you think of the service?
Yeah.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Isn't it awesome?
I've already got all the World of Warcraft books. They're great quality, and I'm listening to them on my Android, and it's really cool.
Wonderful. Awesome. Good to hear about it. Glad you joined up.
Yeah.
So what do you got for us this week?
So quick two-part question. It actually kind of ties in with Gary's whole theory about cred and that stuff. But I was just wondering, what do you guys think are the chances of Blizzard implementing a system like allowing members to sell their gold or something in WoW for like Blizzard cash that can be used towards time cards? And then besides that, whether or not you think Blizzard would actually do that, how would you feel about something like that being implemented in WoW?
Did they do something similar to this with the Real Money Auction House? Can we qualify that?
Yeah. Kind of
D3? Yeah.
Kind of. I'm more looking for like being able to sell gold, because I look at it as like if we were able to sell gold as the players, then it would kill the gold farmers market. And
well, that's you're right, because that's essentially what EVE Online kind of did. It kind of crippled the gold, the ISK market out there, because they kind of took it into their own hands. So it worked for them. I don't even know.
Yeah.
God, man, trying to extrapolate that in World of Warcraft, would it work at this point with the economy in place, with all the things that are like going on? There's a lot of moving parts
right now. I don't think it can.
The thing is, I mean, there's so many moving parts right now with such an economy that has a 10-year lifespan. Could they just like jam something like that in and make it work? I don't know.
Well, what about let's address this the kind of the way that you were earlier in the show. Could this work with a game that's new?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I think it absolutely works.
Well,
I mean, like, I mean, I could I see Blizzard maybe doing this in the future? I think so, possibly, for sure. They want to do a free to. What? Titan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Titan could possibly be something like this. I mean, like I said, look at EVE. There's of course always somebody who will not be super happy with the way the system goes, but I think for the most part, the EVE Plex system has been pretty well received by the community of EVE Online, and I think it's worked out really well. And like I think it's killed Gold Crushers. It's crushed them. So
yeah,
I actually, it's kind of funny because when EVE started doing the whole Plex system, as soon as I saw and looked at it, it was like, wow, like why how hasn't this happened before, and why aren't other MMOs adopting this like right now? Because this seems like one of the best solutions. So I don't know. I think WildStar's probably going to be like a testing bed to see how it works. I think it could. I don't know if you'll see it in World of Warcraft. I don't know. Maybe in Titan.
I think it's weird because I know of people in the game. I mean, I won't name any names, but I know people who do sell gold to people in the game, even in trade chat sometimes. And
sure, that goes on all the time. It
literally happens right away, and it sells right away, and they're happy. They get to continue playing the game basically for free. But it's also getting someone else away from a gold farmer. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool.
I think it'd be cool in theory. I just don't. I guess what I'm trying to think of, like, you'd have to really sit down and map this out, because I'm sort of saying like, okay, would it be like a cool system? Yeah, it might be. But the thing is, could you do it to a 10-year-old game that has all this gold already in the economy? Like the ramifications of what that has across the servers and the game itself. Like, you'd have to really sit down like a think tank of people and an economist and figure out like, what is this going to do? Because it's going to change.
Well, how does this work with? So let's unmute Mike. Entropia and PED converting to real currency.
But again, the game started with that. Right. Like, they built the economy in the game, and it's changed over time. It's a lot harder to, but yes, they started that game with that in mind. That was their economy from day one, which I think is a lot easier to kind of map out and graph out something like that than just trying to just convert something that already has currency in a world. And like, that changes everything. So I don't see it. I don't see Blizzard doing it to World of Warcraft. Will Titan do something like that? Possibly. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Titan. Who knows?
Oh, last question before you guys let me go.
Yes.
When's Conspiracy Craft getting a schedule?
Yes, we need to get a schedule. I agree.
The answer to that is yes.
So we want to change Conspiracy Craft a little bit as a show. I want to change it a little bit, like the format and the structure.
Here's the thing that I would say. Conspiracy Crafts, and I co-hosted a couple times. It doesn't feel like a talk show. Missy does a really good job. Has a lot of information to give, but it's her theory. It doesn't leave room open to be a table.
So what happens on a show dynamic like this is that you're either just asking her questions, or what we're not there to do is sort of try and poke holes in her theory.
Right.
Like that's not really the part of the show. So we feel, both of us, like kind of both hosting the show, kind of don't feel like the round table talk show format just doesn't necessarily make sense for that show. So I'll talk to Missy this week. What we really want to do is I think what works better is if we turn it into a straightforward, like, this is Missy's show, she's hosting, here's her show, and like this is her theory and conspiracy, like around World of Warcraft, and it's just her, because she's delivering her theory, because that's essentially how she builds her show, right? So then what are we there for? It doesn't make a ton of sense.
It's got to be her show, and we're just trying to figure out the right way to build it that way.
She started, and it's weird because we never really like talked about how to make that show. She started writing it as a column in text. And then when I read it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, this should be a show. We do shows. Let's turn this into a show. And the knee jerk was like, well, let's just do a roundtable show and we'll do like what we do. And then we like hosted a bunch of times. It never feels right. So I think bringing it back with just Missy being like the star of the show and it's her show is the right way to go.
Yep. Completely agree. Wonderful.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much for your calls.
Thanks for watching.
Garrigan, and you can follow him right down there. Right down there. The music might be cool if it was wanted to play. There it is. Follow him at Timo. You can follow him for all of your mushroom needs. I don't know where to go from that. You can follow him right down there at Garrigan. And is he frozen? He's staying still. He must be invisible. As long as Timo doesn't move, he's invisible. Garrigan, you can follow him right down there at Garrigan and catch him all over Gamebreaker TV. You guys know him. You guys love him. Me, you can follow me right down here at Mike Shavnitz. We do this show live every Tuesday night at 9-ish p.m. PDT. Gotta watch it live so you can do cool things like call in live, get access to the Hearth Nation TV websites.
Hearthnation.com. Show's over. Go bang it. Smash it. Smash it.
Be sure to catch Waypoint. I just put up a new World of Warcraft Waypoint yesterday, as well as there's a new, actually today. Wow, I am losing track of days. New World of Warcraft Waypoint just went live today on Gamebreaker TV or YouTube.com/WoWNationTV. I've got a new League of Legends Waypoint coming up on Thursday at LOL Nation TV YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Every caller, the show could not happen without you. So all of you out there, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.